Hi, Art Seekers. We are here, really two special guests. I'm so excited. I'm in New York, and we're here with the phenomenally talented Elle and with the founder of Read Art, Heather Zeitzes.
Hi.
Yay.
Hi.
So just getting right into your practice, how did you first start to see the street as your canvas?
I had moved to New York about 7 years ago, and I moved into the closet of a house, and I had very little space. And I had just given up art and quit a post-baccalaureate program at Brandeis because the program was awful. Very soon after, I was going through the galleries in Chelsea and wasn't really seeing anything that I liked. But then when I was walking through Chelsea, I saw a piece by Swoon and a piece by Gaia, and I fell in love with them. And I thought, man, this is such a gift that they're giving us this artwork on the street and risking their freedom. I want to do this. And so immediately I started making work again, but I had nowhere to put it, so it was a perfect venue for me to just be making art and putting it on the streets. And I also decided at that point that I wanted something feminine because I was realizing that there were no women on the streets, or at least very little. And the ones that were, like Miss 17, who's a hardcore bomber, you couldn't tell that it was a woman because they were painting in black and silver and doing just as awesome as the men, but you wouldn't necessarily know it. So I wanted to go very feminine so that the woman would know, and I also wanted a feminine name, and Elle means she.
On that note, I was wondering if maybe you could talk a little bit about your Guardian Women series.
Yeah, sure. The Guardian Woman series started after I had this dream, and it was a dream that I was walking naked through this really snowy landscape. And it was really beautiful, and it was a pink and yellow sky, and it was just pristine white glittering snow. And I stumbled upon this dead lamb on a lava rock, on this beautiful lava rock. And the lamb was super soft and super beautiful, and I decided that I needed to be inside of the lamb. So I cut the hoofs off and I stepped into the lamb, and I woke up from the dream in such peace that I couldn't stop drawing images from the dream. So I was drawing myself in this lamb suit and finding the lamb in this whole scene for a really long time, like a few weeks. And then I was like, man, what does it mean? Like, why did I have this dream and why was it so peaceful? And I just kept wanting to be in that same mindset. And I realized that the lamb stood for the skin that I was wearing and the skin that I'm in at the time, and that I was very much at peace with myself and who I was becoming and who I was. And I was also interested in things that, in New York especially, how we embellish ourselves with furs, with skin, with jewelry, with tattoos, etc. And so all of that came together, and I decided to draw all of my girlfriends. So I invited them all over. I drew all of them and then asked them what their spirit animal was. And I decided to do these peaceful woman warriors. So I put them up 10 feet tall around the city, just kind of these protective woman warriors wearing their animal spirit.
What is it like being among the few really empowered, visible women working on the streets?
It has been difficult because, for example, when I was doing graffiti really, really hard and I had billboards on the BQE and I was really up, I still wasn't being invited to go paint with the dudes. I still wasn't being invited into any crews. And so I started with a couple girlfriends, we started our own crew called Garmy, which is our girly army. And we decided that it wouldn't be exclusive to street art and graffiti. So Garmy is inclusive of all women worldwide that are doing really amazing, kick-ass things.
I attended a panel the other night at the National Academy, and Dorothea Rockburn was one of the speakers. And she was asked a question about if there's any true differences between creating art from a male and a female. And she felt that her inner core, her inner sexual core, was actually what was dictating what she was generating, and that network internally is very different from how a male might operate and create and generate. So I was wondering if you identify with any part of what she said.
I, as a woman, try to fight against the stereotype that I am so different, and basically when I see men doing things, I'm like, well, I can do that too. And that was a lot of the reason that I got so deep into graffiti, because there were men and Rambo and different people painting billboards, and I was like, I can do that too. So I would put up Elle, she, on the billboard. And I think more than anything, it's stereotypes that we're born into. You know, you're supposed to look nice. You're not supposed to be out late at night. You're supposed to not jump over really tall things or run too hard. And I think those things are kind of taught to us since we're very little, like, oh, you're so beautiful, you're so pretty, or the dude's so strong, you know. And I think more than anything, it's a mentality that we're breaking through. And I think it's the mindset and stereotype of being a woman that I'm drawing from and creating from and fighting against also.
I'm interested that you work renegade and then you also do commissioned or legal work. And I'm wondering if there's a different energy when you're working in one style versus another.
Totally, yeah. Yeah. I really enjoy painting huge walls, and I've been able to do that because I got sponsored by Liquitex, so I have free paint. And once I started painting these really big walls by asking people, hey, I have a really great wall, can I paint it? And showing that I could do that, people started to invite me to come paint walls different places. I still want to and like to maintain the street side of it and do the illegal work whenever I travel, especially. It's really fun when I travel and I see other artists' stickers or I see their street art or whatnot. It's like running into friends elsewhere, you know. So for me, it's part of the experience of when you travel and you're a street graffiti artist, like leaving your name around so people that travel there will be like, oh my God, hey, Elle was here, and like, yes, and then they get up next to you. And it's like this whole weird
conversation.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how we feel probably when we go to a museum. I'm like, hello, old friend.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
What do you hope people's takeaway from your work will be?
I go through a lot of stages with my art, and sometimes it's really selfish, and sometimes it's totally for the public, and sometimes it's for the female agenda. And I think in general, I hope that they see strength, and I hope that they're inspired, and I hope they see beauty.